Welcome, welcome,
Welcome,
welcome.
welcome.
We are here with DSI Racing Race North. Sorry, North. What am I talking about? Watkins Glen, which is in the North. It's in New York. And this is for our Premier Series truck race. Christian Clark, how you feeling today?
Excited about this race. I love road courses, and we did this. Oh, and we got one spinning around. Going to see that a lot happening there in that bus stop. But yeah, I'm excited. Love road courses. We did this in the next gens the other day. I had a blast out there, and I think it's going to be fun to watch these guys go around the track.
Yeah, the main thing these guys are going to have to watch out for is those curves. Watkins Glen is kind of different from most road courses. It's very speed oriented. So, you got this carousel corner, which carries a lot of momentum, this long straightaway into these sweeping S's that still carry a lot of momentum. Pretty much your slowest point on track would technically be turn one because Watkins Glen is a fast paced one.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you were saying right there in turn 7 and 8, you can almost not use brakes there. When in the cup car, at least I've never ran this in the trucks, but in the cup car, you don't need to use the brakes. You just got to get off throttle enough, and you can carry a lot of speed through there. But that turn one, we're going to see a lot of people overshoot that turn. They're going to be coming out, uh, going off track a little bit, which is acceptable in these NASCAR, the trucks and the cars. But it's a tricky one. That turn one will get you every time.
Yeah, and in the Premier League, we have two legacy truck winners in here too as well. You got Tyler Tomasi and as well as Max Stenda. So they're going to be looking to make their claim here and want to stick it out in the Premier League. Max Stenda getting in here because he won today in the legacy trucks, and then Tyler Tomasi because he won last week in the trucks. So let's see what those guys can do as we get our starting order. Tomasi actually is starting on the pole next to him, Mark Holloway, a very strong driver.
Row two, you got the 68 of Tom Ringer. He did good at, he carries a lot of speed out here on his outside. And fourth, we got the 73 of John Crosby.
Then we've got Hunter Davis, the TRN representative right here. And then Chuck Burley, the resident paint scheme maker for Rat Fink Racing. They're strong drivers as well. They're looking to really get towards the front.
Yeah, going row four, we got Jonathan Geis. He's also one that makes good paint schemes, does pretty good photos. And on his outside is Zach Reichlin, that 86 for Nate.
After that, we've got Todd Perrant from Canada. Todd Perrant's a great driver. Thomas Long, he struggled earlier on today. He's looking to have a good rebound tonight.
That's rounding out your top 10. We're going to do one parade lap here.
And the pace lap is going to be long here. As you can see, even the pace car is different. Normally on the oval tracks, we got that little Chevy Malibu looking car. It's some kind of amalgamation iRacing came up with. But here on road courses, to get that beautiful Porsche out there, and as you can see, the pace car lights are out. Now, do keep in mind, here at road courses, it's under road course rules. You have cautions in an area, in a sector. It is not going to be full course cautions unless it causes something to block the track. So those guys do have to think about that as well. It's pretty much essentially green flag running all the way.
That is correct. And one thing to keep in mind, and I hope these drivers remember this, these road course rules, with there not being full course cautions, there's also 0 stage breaks. So all pit stops are going to be on these drivers to figure out when they need to go in, when they need to get fuel, and get all that figured out. Be cognizant of that. It's a good thing that most of these guys are on teams so they can coordinate with each other, kind of come up with strategy on when they're going to pit, when they're going to come back out, because a bad pit strategy here can take you from being a front runner to in the back trying to catch back up.
There's a lot of trucks out here right now. A lot of guys out there. A lot of ones we didn't comment about. But as they come through the final corner, they're going to get that green flag here and get to road course racing. This is going to be an interesting one. Call it in for me, Christian.
Here we go. Going to the green flag. Green flag's in the air. We're dropping it. Tyler Tomasi in that 001 car. He gets a good start there. He's going to push it onto the outside so he can apex that corner the best that he can. One car locks up his brakes there. Looks like that was the I think that's the 3. I can't the 73 rather that brought him a little bit off pace, but he's able to get back on track safe. Got
Oh,
one
we got
spin
Tom
in there
Perron
coming into the
spinning.
S's.
Now, again, remember, this is what we were talking about. Not full force cautions. It's a sector thing. So he's pretty much got to get it back going and get back out there. Tomasi's going to dive into the bus stop. Now, the bus stop's an interesting area because that first curve is kind of easy. But you see that third one that they're hopping over to try and straighten out the bus stop more? That can snap a truck loose. So they're going to have to be careful there as the trucks get going and keep moving here through the field.
Yeah, absolutely. I know too well that third bump there, if you do not hit that straight on, you don't want to be mid-turn when you hit that. If you hit that while turning your wheel and that the side of your truck gets in the air from hopping on that curb, by the time you hit the ground, it'll spin your truck around and you're going to that outside wall.
Looks like Crosby's still having issues as he battles Tad Dabney. And I love saying Tad Dabney's name. He's such a cool guy, such a very nice dude. He's been working real hard to get better at racing people because he used to have a problem with letting people by. But now he's really working at that. As Crosby's dropping back even more, turn one is turning out to be a real big problem for him.
Yeah, it's really deceiving because of how much speed you can carry, like we were talking about, throughout this whole course. Even through the bus stop, you can carry a a large amount of speed going through there, keep your momentum going up. That turn one, you really have to slow down. It is a very slow paced corner in order to hit that apex, come back out, and get on throttle as soon as possible. And so a lot of these guys, you'll see them, they'll overshoot that corner, they'll go wide, and that just takes them off the pace.
The reason why I think turn one's so bad is because there's elevation change here at Watkins Glen. You know, when you go into turn one, that's your downhill to get to the bottom point of it. But the difference between, the elevation change is when you hit that front straightaway, it dips down hard into turn one. That's what changes it down. But to get back to that elevation, you've got those S's leading up, 2, 3, 4, all the way up there. As you can see right here, Mark Holloway, he dips down into that corner. He gets on that low straightaway right there. And then now he's going to climb that hill through the S's. See that incline there? So they've got a gradual incline, but a rapid decline in space.
Yeah, and your fastest sector in this whole race is going to be those S's leading up to the bus stop there. So as you're climbing that hill, you're slowly gaining momentum, and then you hit that long straight. And before you get on the brakes to hit that bus stop, that is the fastest that car is going to be going the entire race. Even that includes the front stretch coming to turn one. So being able to hit those S's properly, being able to get your apexes, being able to stay on throttle the way you need to, it's really important that setting up a good turn one, coming out of turn one, and getting ready to go into those S's. I mean, it's a game changer if you blow through turn one.
Now, as we're talking about this elevation change, Tyler Tomasi has checked out. He's on a 3.5-second gap right now to Tom Ringer, who's under threat from Max Steinda. But another interesting thing about this track is turn one, as well as out of the carousel, you can run that apron way out there and carry some momentum. As you see, Max actually passes Tom Ringer, but Tom Ringer has more momentum, and he's carrying it through, and he's going to stay in front of him. But going into that bus stop, Tom Ringer's going to have to think about that car getting on those brakes better than him and being on his inside. But he's able to cover it off, and he's able to stay in front of Max Steinda.
Yeah, this is one battle right here that's going to be interesting to watch as they finish these laps here, and they're going to be battling back and forth the entire time. And it's going to come to fruition on what's more important, the position you have or your tires. At 68, he gets a little loose there.
Yeah, Max sent it in and gave him a little bit of a tap, causing him to get swirly, but he does the right thing. He stays out of the man's way, but it might have caused some issue as Tom Ringer's now letting him by.
Tom Ringer might have just thought better of it and thought that right now, as early as it is, we are only lap 5 out of 50. We're a tenth of the way there. Go ahead and let that guy get up there, burn up his tires. Oh, we got one that got a little bit of loose right there coming out of turn 7. That'd be the 86 Zach Reichel. He looks like he's able to get back on track.
Yeah, Zach Reichel having an issue. He's got that beautiful paint scheme with his sponsor on it. He debuted that a few weeks ago on a different type of vehicle, his next gen, and now he's running it on everything. So hopefully he can rebound and have a good race. But as you can see, the field kind of spreads out real fast here. Tyler Tomasi is now out to a almost 6.5 second lead. So Max is going to be looking to chase him down. We're only on lap 5 out of 50. So we've got a long time to go.
Yeah, Tomasi is an excellent driver. I mean, look how much his steering wheel's moving there. He's trying to keep that truck up underneath him. He is pushing that Toyota Tacoma to its limits. See, right here you see drops down 68 miles per hour, going the slowest he's going to be going this whole track. But like I said, you watch how much he's moving that steering wheel. He's keeping that truck under controlled chaos there. I mean, he's slipping, he's sliding, he's maxing out everything he can while being able to save it.
Yeah, and as you can see, he's kind of doing that chopping technique. Oh, we got the 9 car around. He catches the 35 with Judson Curtis. That's going to be a major issue. That's actually going to bring out a full course caution. 2 cars involved, full course caution. Never mind. Sorry. It was a sector caution. I apologize. That's my bad. I wasn't paying attention to the broadcast properly.
That's good. Yeah, you'll notice that if you can see him on this broadcast, it's kind of hard to see. But if you go down, you go to the little wrench, you make sure that you click on 4K, you get the high definition on these races, and you can see that there's a light scattered throughout. So that sector, there's 4 sectors in this on this track. That brought out a sector caution, which doesn't slow anybody down. All it does is warns them that there is hazards on the track ahead. Your spotters are going to be telling you there's a car on the track. There's going to be a car down low. There's going to be a car up high, wherever you need to go.
And if you look at that replay right there, you can clearly see exactly what happened, right? So the 9 car, he's going to go use that apron area as kind of momentum boosting, and he's far from the apex. But the problem is when he puts the throttle down, out there it is a little bit slicker than the rest of the racing surface. He got on the throttle a little too hard. It pitched him down, and he unfortunately connected with Judson Curtis.
Yeah, and I want to point something out. If we can go back to look at that 9 on that replay and do a close chase from behind him. Oh, we got one going into the pitch. If we can get down low, it doesn't look like it when you're, looking at it on the broadcast, but these bumps are so high, his rear end gets in the air. So you can see his back tires lift off, they're in the air, and so by the time he hits back down, his front wheel is already turned, he gets traction, and it slings him around.
Yeah, it looks like the right rear tire was technically in the air right when he did that, exactly like you said. That right rear is up, he hits the throttle, and it snaps that vehicle around as Tom Ringer is now settled into his P3 position. But the problem for Tom Ringer is, road courses spread out a lot. It's all about consistency. But he's being caught by Mark Holloway. And then also Max Dinda, 6.5 second lead down to 5.5 second lead. They might be catching.
Yeah, lap 5, we were talking about Tyler Tomasi had almost a 6.5 second lead. Max has been able to cut that down to, the times are going to be so inconsistent as Max is now in a slower sector than the leader with that 5-second gap. But you watch it, he's going to start catching back up, getting down to a 5.5 second lead. He's starting to catch up.
It looks like the 67 might be a little hurt right now as he goes into the bus stop. Look at that front end kind of sagging right now. he's got some wheel damage. Look at those front tires; they're pitched in a little too hard right now, and he made a little pop noises there. Yeah, that truck looks like it's hurt right now. Yeah, he's off pace
Yeah,
going through the carousel.
we missed exactly what happened there, but I suspect it's them curves. When you go and you try to apex these turns, apexing means hitting the turn at the lowest point that you need to, at the point that you do need to hit it. When you hit those bumps like that, it, like I was saying earlier with the issue with the number nine, those curbs don't look like much when you're watching it on the broadcast, but when you're in that car, you can actually see how high those bumps are. Got one right there, the 73, kind of cutting the course a little bit. He's going to get a slow down penalty for that.
And we're both drivers. We've both been out there in the trucks. I haven't done it much on a road course. I think you have. These trucks are very light in the rear end. There's not a lot of weight over them. So paying attention to those curves is very important because if you hit them at the wrong angle or at the wrong time, it can cause you some major issues.
Yeah, absolutely. On these trucks right here, all your weight is going to be in the front. The only thing you have in the back, underneath that sheet metal that's on top that's blocking the bed off, you have your fuel cell. And that fuel cell is actually it's right in front of the rear axle. So most of that rear end back there, it being longer than a normal stock car, it does get extremely light, like you were saying. So you can get the rear end of that thing loose quick.
Yeah, it'll cause you issues, especially on a long run. It'll cause you to, as you burn fuel, the rear end gets lighter and lighter and lighter. We just ran Michigan in the legacy trucks earlier, and that was kind of something that we noticed as well. Was as your tires heated up, you got sliding around, but at the same time, as fuel burnt off, you really didn't have weight covering you down and helping you out. So you had a little bit more issues. Which, by the way, you should definitely, after you're done watching this broadcast, check out some of the other races that were broadcast, like the Michigan race that just happened earlier. There was a lot of amazing battles going on there, and that race turned out amazing. And of course, again, as we say every broadcast, if you want to come out here and race with us and turn some laps and do something awesome, go to racedescom and get in there with us and join us on these tracks. We've got next gen.
Who's
Oh,
67 is
67
around
around.
there.
I'm going to take a look at that before I continue my spiel.
Go back. I bet you he. Nope. I would have bet wrong. You should have took that bet.
Yeah, it looks
I
like he's
figured he
coming
hit.
through those S's and just didn't hit that curb right. Gets in there. I really don't know. I think he just crossed over the seam a little bit and it just unsettled the truck.
Yeah, a lot of typically when I see that is people are trying to I'm probably going to say it a lot this broadcast is when you're trying to apex those X's and you go to take that right hand apex. If you hit that curb, and he's around again.
Yeah, and I think that's where he's going to call it quits right there. He's going to go, hey, road course racing is not for me. Let me get off the track.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate for him. But I gotta say, these stock cars on these road courses is a challenge. It is not for everybody. It is extremely hard, and it takes a lot of patience. That was my issue when I first got into it. Was it's it's a lot slower than you think it is. When we're on those ovals, we're trying to carry as much speed as we can into the turn so we can get down to the bottom, carry as much speed as we can so we can come out of the turn and get right back on full throttle. These ones here, you're on the brakes a lot. You're slowing down, you're speeding back up, you're slowing down. It's a patience game.
Yeah, you're heating up those brake calipers, brake rotors, or heating up those tires as Max Stenda goes past the 69, who's a lap down. It's a tough one out there, man. Driving road courses are hard, You're doing a lot more than you would on the oval track. Oval track is all about consistency. And yes, road course is about consistency too, but you got other things going in play. Did you overheat your left front tire? That becomes in play because when you go into right-handed corners, that's going to be an issue. If did you overheat your right front? That's going to cause a problem with the left front. Did you hit a curb wrong? You can unsettle the rear end. There's so much more to think about in these races.
Yeah, absolutely. And then if you overshoot a corner, you get out, you get into that grass, you get some of that mud or any of the marbles out there on your tires, and you go into a turn, it can get you loose as well. So anytime we see these guys, they spin out, they get into the grass, they come back out on track. That actually brings a lot of that debris onto the racing surface, and that makes it a lot slicker for the people that are going to be coming in behind you.
Yeah, and that's a big thing too, right there, because it's not like how an oval track race is. When people go off track and it can cause a caution, track crews go out there and they clean it up. But here in road course racing, it just stays there. You have to learn to manage it, which could be potentially what caught the 67, but you have to learn to manage the changing environment out there as the five truck is catching the 88. He was close to him and now he's dropped back a little bit. He's going to try and get after him.
And the five, he's one that is very sneaky. I've raced with him a couple times here on Watkins Glen, and I've noticed that I could be driving, I'm in the clear, I just run my line, not have anything to worry about, and look up, and Miami Vice is filling my mirrors.
Yeah, he's a sneaky guy. He's my teammate, and I really enjoy racing with him. I really enjoy having him on my team, but he tends to just appear.
Yeah, he did, and he comes out of nowhere, and by the time you see him, it's too late. Your options are try to defend or get out of the way, and he's one of the most respectful drivers that I've raced around, and I tend to just go ahead and let him, being the faster truck, go around. And just like the 23 is right there, 23 is also one of the most respectful out there. He'll get out of your way. He'll let you run your line. He'll try to not do anything to mess up. But that five, when he's coming, he's full steam ahead.
You said the 23 is he's one of those nice guys out there.
I did. I've every
Yeah, so
time I've
you
raced around him, he he's been clean. That me and Thomas Long have never had an issue. I mean, he's always, if he's laps down, he'll always get out of the way for me, and just seems to let everybody run the race.
Now, I'm 100% joking about my comment about Thomas Long there. Thomas Long was actually one of the people when I first came into the DES world who I kind of had to compare myself to. I was running around him all the time. He was running faster lines than me. He's one of those guys that really helped me get better to where I'm now a top 5, top 10 car at most tracks. Now, there's definitely some tracks I'm not. But Thomas Long is one of those guys when I'm not understanding how to run the track, I will watch his line and I'll pay attention to what he's doing. And then once he kind of gives me the tempo I need, I go out there and I run it. And I'll either perfect it or I'll, not. But he's a very consistent driver, very good driver as Tom Ringer's passing Sean Dion. Sean Dion, another truck that we want to talk about, the 3 truck. He's usually kind of low key, chill back there as he just, he's riding in P12. But keep in mind, P12 is 2 spots out of P10. And so you never know. He could go up there. He's another one of those guys that kind of appear towards the front.
Yeah, and some of these guys, they seem like they're off pace. They're going a little slow. They're letting people pass them. Just wait until we get about lap 25, maybe lap 30, and some of these guys come into pit. Well, if you come into pit, you got to go in there for about a good 15 seconds out of a minute 15 lap. That gives that person who's been saving tires, seems like they're slow and off pace, enough time to get ahead of you and try to. Oh, and we got one in the grass there. It looks like the 73.
You also have to think about, it's 15 seconds for the pit stop. Getting down pit road can take longer. You're talking about 40 seconds at least just driving on pit road. And if somebody's out there saving tires or saving fuel, which I don't think Tomasi's doing, as the 88 gets loose, that's
Oh,
a
that was a
first time.
good save too,
That's
going
very
in the grass like
uncharacteristic
that.
of
Yeah,
him.
but that gave the 5 a little bit more time to get caught up there. Now he's going to be right there on his tailgate as we're going to come to the front stretch. Oh, and the 88 gets loose again. Once you get loose in these trucks and those back tires get warm, they get slick. You got to give it a little bit. Oh, we got another truck spinning.
That's a
Who is that
lot of
there? That's
vehicles
the
around us. The
86er.
86.
That tire wear starting to show. Like I was saying, the hotter these tires get, the less traction they're going to be getting. And if you don't watch it and you try to just keep pushing it on hot tires, that's the type of stuff that's just going to continue to happen.
I think it's not enough for a full course caution yet. They kind of got to be stuck on track for it to happen. So that's just going to be another instance of sector cautions. But as we were talking about, these guys are very interesting. Tom Ringer, he's sitting there in P3. He's a very strong driver. This is actually crazy about Tom Ringer. In the Xfinity Series, which we run on Sunday, he won the first two races. Unfortunately, no, sorry, next gen. He won the first two races, but unfortunately was not able to bring home the third race. So, that's how good of a driver he is. Him and his teammates, Mark Holloway, Chuck Burley, um, Todd Perrant, they're all amazing drivers. So, they're trying to make sure their team is good. I think they're actually leading team points in next gen, actually. So this is something that they're kind of running away with, and I think they're also leading it in Premiere as well.
Yeah, one thing about Ratfink is every time we get into a practice session, some of them we get an hour and a half. Some of them, like the next gen, we ended up getting 2 hours to practice on the Watkins Glen Road course. Is all of those Ratfink guys are in their own private private voice chat channel to where they can talk to each other. They're all on track running together. You know that they're talking to each other, giving each other tips, pointers, what helps me in this sector, what helps me in this turn, and that's why a lot of the time you see these Ratfink guys all running in the top 10 close to each other.
That's an interesting topic, as you broadcast the this race with me, and as well as the Xfinity race tomorrow. That's an interesting topic, talking about teams and how strong they are. You've got currently right now, kind of, if you wanted to be that person, say quote unquote, two powerhouse teams. You got TRN, and then you've got Ratfang. Those guys are insanely strong. But at the same time, we've seen recently, as I've been doing the team points, we've seen recently that some new teams are starting to pop up. You got people like Beer Run, Bayou Boys, they're starting to show up. So it's really cool to watch the team point standings and how they can elevate and how they can change just people's races. Because, like you said, it's people to bounce off strategy with, it's people to talk to. You're not out there by yourself on an island. Sometimes we have 30 people in a race. You don't really want to be a one guy army out there battling 29 other people. It's nice to have other guys out there fighting that fight with you.
Yeah, the team building, the team camaraderie, the being able to work together is huge, and we have seen an uptick in the participation in teams with DES since bringing it in and making it an official deal. And I mean, we can sit through here and go through everybody we see on the scoring tree here, and just about everybody is on a team with somebody. You got Tyler Tomasi. He's a free agent. He was racing with CRR, but with the disband of CRR, he hasn't been picked up by anybody yet. You have Max Dinda. I don't remember the team he's on. He's on a team with one other guy.
Vagisil, he's on team by himself now, actually.
Oh, he is on a team by himself. He's still with the Vagisil drivers. You got Tom Ringer. He's with Ratfink. You got Mark Holloway. He's with Ratfink. Uh, Chuck Burley, Ratfink, Brandon Hinton, TRR, and Hinton Motorsports. The 88 Hunter Davis, TRN as well. Judson Curtis is with Bayou Boys.
He's drive
No,
by performance.
Drive By Performance. That's right. It's him and one other driver. Who's the other driver that's with him?
I can't remember off the top of my head here, I'll tell you right now. Because he's on Drive By Performance, which is a very interesting team. They're guys who used to run a lot with DES and have stepped away. He's on it with Brandon Miles. So they're guys who
That's
have
right.
raced on it a lot. And then, after, Justin Kirsch, you got Jonathan Geis, he's a TRN driver. And then you got Craig Knoll, free agent, Zachary Reichel, Rat Fink, Sean Dion, free agent, Todd Perront, Ratfink, Thomas Long, he's a free agent, and then Crosby is actually on your team. That's your teammate.
He absolutely is. Yeah, and John, he's been big for me. I recently joined the Beer Run Racing team, and I mean, those guys welcomed me in with open arms. First race I came in, I was in the voice chat with those guys. We were all sharing tips and everything, and they're all pretty good drivers. They're just a good group of guys. They like working together on track, and I'm really happy to be with them and with a bunch of good guys. I got John Crosby, um, Brandon Souza, who took third in that race yesterday. If any of you guys that are watching this didn't watch that race, that Friday night race, I would suggest going back and looking at it. It was an exciting race to watch. But as we are coming to lap 22 of 50 for the leader there, I suspect that we're going to be seeing a lot of people getting ready to do their pit cycles. They're getting halfway through. What better time than to do your one pit stop, which most of these guys are going to do one pit stop, get some fuel, get some tires. Around halfway is what I'm suspecting. We got here the 86. Looking at him, he's a Rafting driver. He's currently sitting in P10. He's got the number 5 in 6th place in front of him. That's putting most of these guys a lap down. From 9th down, those guys are all going to be lapped cars. So interesting is Max Dinda has been able to cut that lead on Tyler Tomasi down to 3 seconds. I don't know if that's just him pushing it and being able to catch up. Don't know if Tomasi is just kind of sitting in his groove, what he's got going on, but that gap has narrowed. And if we watch, there comes the 48, not the 48 today because he is a ticket winner. He is running the 1-7. We can now see him in the same camera shot as the 001 of Tomasi, which means Tomasi can see him in his mirror. He's in the 48, he's going to go in and pit.
I'm sorry about that. Had a bit of technical difficulties. I dropped out for a little bit. Hopefully everything's good now.
Yeah, just interesting development. Max Dinda was able to cut that lead down to 3 seconds. Tyler Tomasi was able to look up in his mirror and see that black and pink Vagisil truck coming at him, and he pits.
Now, Tomasi could have been saving. He could have been trying to save because, like you see, he's still on the track. But we did see early on that Max was cutting that lead down by a couple tenths every lap already before I had, technical difficulties. But he is under threat. He does have to pay attention to that because now he's going to be out on old tires.
Yeah, but Tomasi's one of those, knowing that it's only 50 laps out here, he might carry it through. He might not even pit. And if he does pit, it'll be way later in the race after he's gained, as you see, an extremely comfortable lead. He's got 24 seconds before P2 of Tom Ringer.
Now, he might have been trying to split it as well. So there's a couple things out there. We're not in these drivers' heads. I'm a guy who really likes being on fresh tires, so I will burn up a set real quick just to get on my tires. And so if he's splitting it down the middle, we'll see him coming in lap 26, which will give him exactly right down the middle of laps.
Yeah, and that's the strategy I would employ. If I was able to make my tires last the 26, be able to stay on a decent pace, I would try and come in at the halfway point. Tom Ringer's coming in. Ooh, one
Late
just
turn in
barely.
from Mark Holloway, late turn in. You got a commitment line there, and he might have just barely made that as Chuck Burley's in. Now, here's the interesting about everybody who just came down pit road. Those are Ratfink boys. But Brandon Hinton's also going to be in. Hunter Davis is going to be in. Again, teammates pitting together. So, and we've got a lot of guys coming down pit road, and I think that's what they're aiming to do. They're aiming to split it down the middle.
Yeah, going to be interesting to see what happens here with the 56. The way that he came in, I do wonder if he's going to get either speeding on pit road or unsafe pit entrance with that commitment line.
Well, the commitment line is where those cones
And
are.
there
As
we go, the
Tyler
leader.
Tomasi comes in as well.
He's going to come in, he's going to pit. He's still showing that he's in the lead. He came in, pitted right after everybody that was behind him came in. And the only person he's got to worry about is Max Dinda, which the amount of time that it takes to get on pit road, finish your pit stop, get off pit road, Max might be able to pass him. And here he goes. Here comes Max. He's passing him right now. Tomasi's just now pulling off pit road. He still has a pit speed until he hits that commitment line, and Max is able to come out in front of him. Only going to have about 1 second of a gap between them, but Max is now on older tires. He's 2 laps on those tires. Yeah, but look at Tomasi there. He's pushing it hard. He's going to try and wait, stay behind him, set up the perfect opportunity to try and get a pass. This track is not the easiest to pass on either. A lot of these turns are so narrow that it's hard to try and get a safe pass in some of these. And look at that steering wheel. He is pushing it as hard as he can to try and get up there and set it up for him. Now, one thing he's got to look here, he's going to go on the outside. He's going to try and brake a little bit later than the 48 so he can cut on the inside. But he wasn't able to secure the pass on that turn. But he does look like he got a little bit of a better exit, so the 17 isn't able to just run away with it. Watch Tomasi. He's trying to go onto the inside. The 17, he's trying to block him. Tomasi's able to get it, but he overshoots the bus stop. Going in the grass there on the bus stop, he is going to get a slowdown penalty, so he will actually have to slow down a little bit.
Well, I don't think he had all 4 off, so he might be able to stay fine because.
Let's see if he's able to get back in it.
It looks like Max has better drive on the exit, while Tyler has better drive into the corner. So they're hanging with each other. Turn 1 is going to be the most deciding factor right here as we get into turn 1. Max was trying to cover it off a bit. Late dive, and there we go. We'll see it here, and Max carries it on the outside. Doesn't spin it, maintains it, keeps going.
Oh, they make a little bit of contact.
These guys were actually battling in the legacy trucks, and I was actually battling with them. I want to tell you right now, these guys are formidable people. So whatever they're doing, know it's to the max level. So, and no pun intended, actually, considering Max is involved. But it is to the highest caliber of skill. as that's a little bit of cut from Tomasi. He might have a slowdown there now for that.
The only thing I do have to say about the slowdown, if you cut through the bus stop, is the carousel turn. That is the nickname for that long sweeping right-hander immediately after the bus stop. That carousel turn, you have to slow down for that. You have to carry a slower speed through there, and that slower speed you're carrying through there to be able to safely navigate that turn actually counts towards your slowdown penalty. So by the time you come out of it and you go to get into that first left-hand turn, your slowdown penalty is done. You've done technically slowed down enough, long enough to where that penalty is gone before you come to the front stretch.
Yeah, and that might be what he's playing on, but if you look at the steering wheel of Tyler Tomasi, it's kind of snappy. He might have a bad rear end right now. Let's watch him through the bus stop. If he's snapping hard, he's pushing that car in there, he's throwing it in there and cutting it down, which is a tire burner. So he goes in, he hits the next bus stop, cuts that one, cuts the next one, but look how snappy he is going in the carousel. He's forcing that car down. That might be burning tires a little bit.
And let's see if maybe while these guys are battling, we get just a small turn it up moment so you can just hear how much these guys are on throttle, off throttle, how just the car sounds and reacts while they're trying to navigate all of these turns.
And as you see, we got a nice little turn it up there from the carousel on around till the carousel. Tyler Tomasi is snapping that wheel bit. When we get towards we got the 88 around the fucking. Ooh, I'm sorry. I apologize. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. Kristen, save me.
Yeah, the 88, he spun around there coming out of turn 7 before he comes to the front stretch, and that was excellent accident avoidance by the 17. Not only did the 17 see the danger that was ahead, see that there was a car there and navigate around it, but he was also able to maintain the lead. So that was really good avoidance and heads up driving, and just hats off to him. That was really, really good on his part.
Well, I want to apologize for my profanity, but these guys are really making it a nice, interesting battle. It seems to be interesting battles all this weekend. I don't know what's going on, but everybody's got, something. They got that bug. That bug has bitten them. Everybody on out here. The next gen race had a lot of excitement. You were in there, Christian Clark. You know how that one went. The truck race, legacy truck race earlier was the same way. It was a lot of excitement, and here we are in a road course race where you expect people to separate and spread out, and we've got 2 leaders nose to tail fighting hard. Tomasi's going to actually get to his rear bumper. He lifted him up a bit, and so as you can see, he saves that and he's able to hold on to it. So everything's going crazy right now. Tomasi's going to try and throw it in, but again, remember, that allows Max Denda to go all the way to the apron and carry more momentum than him.
Yeah, and one of the things that it's a weird rule, and you can get a slowdown penalty for using that much of that apron out there, but these NASCAR allows you to use the full track in that turn as well as coming out of the carousel. So technically what Max did is allowed, he can use that wide sweeping one. You do get a slowdown penalty, but it's actually not that severe. It's only like I think point 0.4 seconds. It's really minimal, not even enough to matter. Because when you're going up those S's, by the time you exit the S's, coming onto that long straight to the bus stop, that slowdown penalty's gone. So
Even if you don't have it gone, the carousel will clear it out for you. You mentioned that earlier. This pace in the carousel is enough to slow you down and allow you to do that. As they're pulling up on the P7, Judson Curtis, who is going to go a lap down. It's surprising to see a road course come to this way, but you know what the most surprising part is? The two guys battling for the win are two guys who are not even in the Premier League, who won their berths to be here and show off their skills. Tyler Tomasi, an actual NASCAR driver, he attempted to qualify for Bristol as well as, I believe, Martinsville. He attempted to qualify for those. Max Dinda, he's just a young gun who's really fast. So
yeah, one thing that's interesting is Tyler Tomasi, like you just mentioned, he's a in real life NASCAR truck driver. He is also an Xfinity step in. He is excited and wanted to do this race. We did it in the ARCA cars. We've been doing it in the trucks. He wanted it for more practice because when these trucks go up to New York to do Watkins Glen this year, he's going to be driving one of them on the track in real life, which I think is exciting. I'm going to be watching and rooting for him.
yeah, I'm a massive fan of Tyler Tomasi. In my time here of joining iRacing, I have found a lot of real life people that I root on a lot. You've got Tyler Tomasi, and another guy I know is Buddy Isles, who's a Z-Max Car Tours driver, and he drives the Flying 11. So it's really nice to come in here and be able to meet these people, compete with them, and battle with them, and measure yourself up with them because they're the guys who can do it in the real world. We do it in the virtual world, and it's really awesome to have them here. Tyler Tomasi, very nice guy, very cool guy. I think I've actually only had one actual verbal conversation with him, but I will tell you this now. Every time I get on track and I race him, it's different. There's a whole different feeling when you pull up to that number 39 truck and have to battle him for position. And it feels different.
Yeah, I completely understand what you're saying, man. It's just, you know, being behind him, obviously, that's the only place I'm ever going to be with Tyler Tomasi is somewhere in his rear view mirror because how much speed he has. But I'm able to watch his lines. I'm able to watch and see how he runs the track, and I can try and mimic what he's doing. And I have noticed that just by doing that, not even like having conversations with him or anything, that I've been able to improve my lap times just trying to watch his braking points, his apex, how he comes out of the turns, and just following him around the track.
Yeah, and I have to agree with that so much. I mean, earlier today I got to race him at Michigan, and just the whole time I was near him, I'm thinking, oh, this guy's gonna walk away from me. But then I get to battle with him because I'm learning from him. I'm paying attention to his lines, and if any of the viewers watch that race, you will see me following his tire tracks a couple times, and he just made me a better driver. But I mean, we're talking about Tomasi. We also got to talk about Max. Max is a young gun guy. Came in here, young kid, had so much speed. Had to improve his racecraft a bit. But once he got that down pat, he is next level, and he is hard to beat. He's another guy. Actually, I'm not even going to just say Max Dinda. Okay, you got Tyler Tomasi, Max Dinda, Tom Ringer, Chuck Burley, Mark Holloway, Brandon Hinton, and Judson Curtis all in your top seven. All seven of those guys are guys you want to get behind and follow their line. This road course is not 100% giving them justice. Those guys know how to drive a track. And then on top of that, you got Jonathan Geis. That guy will teach you how to save tires and save fuel in a way that you never thought could ever happen. He's so good at it. And then Hunter Davis, same way. He's going to teach you to save tires and fuel while being fast at it. Sean Dion, he's going to teach you how to stay out of trouble. Todd Perrant, he's, again, teach you to stay out of trouble. This is why these guys are all in the Premier League. They're all next level drivers. As Tyler Tomasi is going to try and extend the lead on Max. But remember, when he got out there, Max started catching him, and that gap is a lot smaller now.
Yeah, and if you actually look at the tree over here, Brandon Hinton, he's been able to cut that lead down to about half a second to Mark Holloway. So I suspect that before this race ends, we're going to see a good battle between them two.
And they're two of the cleanest guys you'll ever see on track. You know, Mark Holloway, he gets a little upset, and he'll say, "I'm gonna race people how they race me," but he never does. And the reason why he does it is because that's not the type of person he is. He's a clean driver, and it has paid off for him more times than anyone could ever count. You know, my first time joining, I ran into Mark Holloway, and then I cleaned up my act, and that guy has been a fast dude, and it took a while to learn to beat him.
Yeah, and from my experience, you know, we can sit there and get mad at people on track. We can get frustrated at the moves they make, the lines they run when they're racing up against somebody. Our adrenaline is pumping. I mean, when I'm in that seat and I'm racing around track, my hands are sweaty, my knees are weak, arms are heavy. Anyways, and sometimes that Damon's in the booth.
I heard Eminem come into the booth. He said, "Knees weak, arms are heavy, mom's spaghetti."
Yeah, and anyway, that adrenaline gets to you sometimes, and sometimes you know when you're in that and you're doing everything you can just to hold your position, you can get frustrated, and sometimes you know you race people a little harder. Sometimes you say things that you think about later, you stew on, and it's you just gotta put it in the past, go on to the next week, and hope that everything can be better in the next race.
Yeah, you know, we're passionate about what we do. You know, yes, this is virtual, but we're very passionate about these, and these guys are very passionate about everything they do, and that's why they put the effort into here. That's why they're in the Premier League. That's why they're running as hard as they are. And, you know, it's a level of passion. You know, everybody wants to get that quote unquote monkey off their shoulders. They want to be a podium driver, they want to win a race. Because once you get your first one, things change. It gets a little different. And, you know, I got my first one last season, and it helped me out so much. You know, it made me realize, like, hey, I can do this. Let me start being smart about it. I haven't got another one since then, but I am trying my hardest to. And it's just changes your attitude. And you've been pretty close yourself, Christian, and I know you're really yearning for that first one as well. But honestly, man, I feel like you're right there at it, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I've had in the three. This is my third season being here. I've had two second place finishes and one third place finish, and you know it is frustrating coming into these races. A lot of these guys put a lot of money into you know their setups, their computers, their screens, their rigs, everything. Put a lot of time into it. You know, I work full time. I'm a full time college student as well. I got a family. You know, got to spend time with all of them, and then you got to get on track and you got to practice and you got to put the hours in if you want to be proficient and you want to be able to get the best line. And so that's why a lot of these guys are so passionate about it. Is it's not just you know it's race time, we're going to turn our computer on and get on track. A lot of these people put in a lot of effort and they put their heart and soul into it. So when you're just trying to get that podium position, you're trying to get that win, it can be frustrating with the little mistakes we make or the little mistakes the drivers around us make that keep us from getting up there. But I know that I enjoy getting on. I enjoy racing. I love broadcasting. I like being in here with you. I have a lot of fun doing this as well. And someday I'll get a win. But until then, I'm gonna continue getting on track and just having fun.
Oh, I'm the same way, man. I'll finish in the top 10 1,000 times over before I get another win. And you called it out earlier as well. Let's get back to the action here on track. Brandon Hinton has caught Mark Holloway, and these are two guys that are very passionate at what they do. Mark Holloway, he's very dedicated to what he does. He has focused up. He has really started racing hard. I've seen his lows and highs in DES since I've joined. He's been a back marker. He's been a front runner. He's been a mid pack car. He does what he needs to do, but he is a good guy. But then Brandon Hinton, you also got him. He's your next gen champion, and as well as he's competing for this Premier Series championship. But at the same time, he's got his own YouTube channel. He tries to support his stuff, and I actually put it on all my cars because I support him too. He's very nice. Both those guys are probably the nicest people you ever meet. Is Jonathan
For the
Geist in the
32,
grass?
not sure what happened there. He might have just been staying out of the way from all these leaders here. He is a lap down, and all these trucks in front of him were at least two of the trucks that were in front of him were on the lead lap. So, hats off to him for recognizing that and
Yeah,
getting out of the way there.
he made sure he was out of the way. But like I said, those guys, actually, those three trucks right there are all in contention for position right now. P4 is up to grabs for them. All three of those trucks. You know, Chuck Burley, he's a great guy, and he has started stepping into the design world, and he makes designs and stuff and wants to start a market around that. Mark Holloway, guy who's worked very hard. Brandon Hinton, another dude we've talked about or I just talked about, who is really trying to make something of himself on the YouTube world, and DES has helped him out so much, and we love racing with him. So all those guys are amazing people, but now they have to battle as we're sub 10 laps to go.
Yeah, this battle is going to continue to unfold as we look back here at the 17. 17 and 001, like you mentioned earlier, both of these guys are not premier truck drivers. They are the golden ticket winners, as we said in the beginning. Tyler Tomasi, he won last week. Max Dinda, he won the Legacy Truck Race this week. That was earlier tonight. So both of them have earned the right to do a showcase here in the Premier Truck Race, and they came out and they're showing that why they were able to earn their way here and why they deserve to be on track with these guys each week.
Yeah, they've got a lot more to lose than everybody else. Everybody else is just points loss. These guys are loss of a chance to be here in Premier. And once you enter Premier, you're no longer eligible for legacy truck points, but at the same time, it doesn't matter because you're in the point standing of the top dogs, the heavy hitters. And actually, if you look at the legacy point standing, a lot of these premier guys are sitting in the top 10. And so, these guys are really big drivers. They're good at what they do. They're super clean. Yes, they have a few cautions, but other than that, really honestly, what do you see going wrong with them? As Max Dinda is able to drop it to about a second and a half, but for some reason, Tomasi can hit the gas and bring it back up to 2 seconds.
Yeah, Tomasi, he's got Jonathan Geis and the 32. I mean, that just again, we just seen it with some other cars, and now we're seeing it again here. Just the level of respect he has, that heads up racing, knowing that the leaders are coming by, and I mean, he stays in the throttle, but he gets out of the way. He lets these guys battle it up. He's not trying to hinder anything that they got going on. So it's that's another reason and another way that these guys get into the Premier League. We watch them, the race committee. We see what they do out on track, how they race other people. It's not just about speed. Obviously, as he blows through the turn, he blew through that turn and just went straight on into that wall.
I don't know if he had some kind of technical difficulty or anything. Was it Max Dinda? Max Dinda did that.
Was that Max or was that the 32 that did that?
We're going to take a look at the replay right here. Max is on the inside of 32. 32's on the grass trying to stay out of his way. 32 slides up. 17 just completely misses the corner himself, and that causes an engine blow on 32 as well.
Yeah, the 17, he did get sideways. That truck was wrecking. It was about to be bad, but he was able to save it. He Tokyo drift around there and was able to get back on track. Look here, the 32, he tried staying out as far out as he can. He got into that grass. Once you get into that grass and you hit the brakes, I mean, you're not slowing down. So,
Yeah, you see the grass spray off of his left side. It pretty much told him, yeah, you're not making this corner. You're not getting through it. And it caused him to kick out. And I think the 17 of Max Tinda was kind of worried about that. And it cost him a little bit. But he actually got back to that time. He's still back to 2 seconds out as we're 6 laps to go today.
coming to the end here, and the 5 did finally make that pass on the 56. He's now got a pretty comfortable lead. He's a little over a second in front of Holloway. As you know, we got 5 laps to go here. These guys they're spread out. I mean, there's a full minute between 4th place and the leader of Tomasi.
Yeah, once you learn how to drive a road course, you're pretty much hard to beat. And NASCAR calls them road course ringers. I don't know if I'm going to call them that, considering we have a Tom Ringer and a Randy Ringer inside DES. But they are road course aces at least. And Tyler Tomasi has really set himself apart. And one interesting thing about Tyler Tomasi is when he's at his real life NASCAR things, when he was at Martinsville and Bristol, he had a lot of coaching from actual NASCAR drivers who wanted to help him. And that should show you that he's that good of a driver to where they're like, let's help this guy. Let's make sure he succeeds. Because nobody wants to build up a competitor. Nobody wants to make somebody beat them. But he was good enough to where they were like, yeah, let's talk to this guy. And as the lead has dropped a lot just then, Max Dinda might have turned on the heaters with 5 laps to go, as we're now almost close to a second left of space between them.
Yeah, and and Tomasi, he gets into, who is that? That's the 69 Todd Perrant coming out of the carousel there. That slowed him down a little bit.
Hopefully he didn't get any kind of damage from that, or a wheel damage or something, but Todd Perrant was out of the way, but Tyler Tomasi was trying to maximize the track racing surface, and it caused him to slap that truck next to him. But look at the lead. We're sub a second now.
Yeah, and Max knows that coming across that finish line just then, he's got 4 laps to make something happen. He's able to, really good exit on turn 1, able to cut that down even further to 4/10 there. He's got 4 laps to make it happen. The 39, he gets loose.
I think the 39 has damage. He has to have damage for the way that truck is turning. He might have some wheel damage, which is not going to help his cause, especially over those curves right there. It's going to slow him down. Look at that. Kicks the rear end out. Yeah, I think he definitely has damage. He's got wheel damage on the left front.
Yeah, and now he's just in full defensive mode. He's going to have to do everything he can to try and, if he's got damage and he can't carry the speed that he has been carrying, he's going to have to do everything he can to just try to make that truck as wide as that track.
And it looks like Max suffers in the last 2 corners, but turn 1, he is very strong. He has a very good drive in there. As we get a rear view shot right there, look at that 17 right there. Look how close he's getting. Look how he's tracking him down. He can hit the apex a little bit harder. And look at him. He's right there. Half a car length now. He is fighting back on him.
And I mean, he executed that turn 1 perfect. He had a late entrance, so that way he could maximize the throttle. Yeah, 39 getting loose there again. But like I was saying earlier, the way that you enter into turn one and the way that you're able to exit it because of your entrance, setting up that turn, and then coming up into those S's, that turn one is pivotal for the fastest sector in the whole track. Is when and 39, he's getting loose
Tomasi's throwing
again.
blocks. He's throwing blocks, and I would do the same too. You want to keep that truck behind you. You know, just like you said, he's got to make that truck super wide. And that's exactly what he did right there. And he's able to fend off the 17 again as we come to 2 laps to go. 17's now on his inside. We're going to watch him drag race here. 17 is going to beat him off the corner. Now, Tomasi,
But it's not over yet. He's still got to be able to. Now the 17 is going to have to defend on that, and the 001 is able to take that apex away from him, so he gets a bad exit. And now they're going to be battling up, coming up through these S's.
And you never want to be on the outside really on those carousels, but it looks like the 001 has to lift to Tomasi, and it allows the 17 to get in front of him. He's going to have to beat him through the bus stop here. That wheel damage could not have come at a worse time for him because that is definitely a damaged truck. Look at him. Look at him slinging it in there. He knows that he can get that penalty gone in the carousel. Runs up to 17. 17's going to hold it on the outside. He goes around the cones. And it's a drag race down the straightaways. 001, Tyler Tomasi back to point.
Yeah, that double out one there, Tomasi, he was able to execute that really well. He did wash up the track into the carousel a little bit, got into the 17. 17 did have to go outside the cones there, but because of those two turns that come and follow, that, like we keep saying, that slowdown penalty is not going to be an issue for him. So he's able to get back on track, was able to get back on track safely. And in the 17, he locks up his brakes.
Oh, they got to get around the 3 as well. Look at them both sliding out. 17 back to point. But we know that 001 can beat him in a certain area, and that's what he's going to be aiming for. He knows that's his one shot to get back towards the front.
And 17 knows that, so watch for the 17. I think he's going to try and cut down into the middle before he goes in. There he goes. He's going to early entrance into that bus stop to make sure that the Tomasi isn't able to cut onto his inside.
The 01 still dives deep hard.
And look at that front left tire of that 001. It is.
Yeah, there was no chance. I mean, he fought hard, but we're on the final lap. He's put a gap on him now. So we're going to come through the final 2 corners. The 17 is going to have an easy coast here. Well, not easy coast because still got to worry about that 001 getting there because he's pushing that truck hard. But it's going to be Max Dinda coming across to win Watkins Glen.
Man, that was some intense battle between them two there. Tomasi, being an excellent driver, super fast, was dominant this whole race. Oh, I don't know if he's seen that other truck coming up behind him.
He might have been a little frustrated, honestly.
Yeah, I'm not sure who that was that got into him there, but might be a little bit of frustration coming out. Not really sure, but I mean, hats off to Max Dinda. Tyler Tomasi coming in P2, Tom Ringer in 3rd, Chuck Burley in 4th, Brandon Hinton in 5th.
As we're going to pull in Tom Ringer here, a 3rd place finisher. Tom Ringer, how was Watkins Glen for you?
I probably would have tried harder, but somebody was a little aggressive, so I just backed off because I knew if I got anywhere near him, he'd take me out.
Yeah, that was a good play on your part. I mean, it was smart heads-up racing. It was able to get you into a podium position. Sometimes it's worth or it's not worth it to fight some of these people on track and end your entire race. But you had some not so good luck in the ARCA race. You were running up front, and then you ended up finishing I believe mid-pack. So how do you feel that you're able to come out here in the trucks and finish on podium?
That was what I was trying to do. I did not want the same thing to happen to a teammate again, so I just backed off, let it go, got a good podium finish, and called it good.
That's going to be a good points paying day for you, Tom Ringer, as well as for your team. You know, your team's going to have a lot of good team points going into that average right now. Um, you were very strong in that race, very consistent. I think you're probably the only truck to not spin out or have any kind of issue on track.
Yeah, I was just taking it easy. There's no reason. I just kept everybody behind me, 10 or so seconds, and just raced the track and took it easy.
Well,
Well,
congrats.
congratulations.
Go ahead, Chris.
Oh, I was just saying congratulations on your P3 finish, man. It's going to be huge points for you. I'm glad to see that you're able to stay up there and finish the race clean.
Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
Well, we don't have our P2 finisher here, so we're going to snag our race winner, Max. Oh, no, P2 is here. Tyler Tomasi. Let's get him on in here and have a chat with him. Tyler, you controlled a lot of that race, and then at the end, what happened?
The 69, I mean, he was trying to be nice and let me go. He's kind of unaware of what's going on. So, like, I mean, sure, like when you get lapped, you try to let guys go, right? But you can't do it on like the exit of the corner because, like, you're fully committed off, and he tried to let up and let me go. And I hit him with my left front, and the car was killed. Max was a little better than me on the long run anyway, but I think I probably could have stayed with him a little better there. The damage honestly didn't hurt me anywhere except for up the S's because I had like no arrow at all. So, but it was fun. It was a good race with him. It was. I hope we put on a good show.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you guys made that really exciting. It was lap after lap after lap was just battling. I mean, you dominated for the first half of the race. You ended up pitting after everybody. Do you think that Max being able to pass you up there from your pit was what kind of started all of that?
I mean, I don't really think it would have made a difference because I mean it kind of just made us have to battle. But once I got the lead back with like 5 to go, started to drive away, and then the 69 obviously. So I mean, yeah, hitting him in that wheel and couldn't even stay straight up the S's. So I don't know if it really would have made a difference, to be honest, because Max was catching me in the long run anyway.
Well, Tyler, you're pretty an upstanding guy. I'm glad to hear that you have no hard felts about things that were going on track. Um, it was a great showing for you here in the Premier League. Do you think this was what you needed to potentially get yourself locked up a position here in the Premier League?
I mean, yeah, I mean, we'll see if I have time to run. That's what it always comes down to. But it was a fun race, honestly, with Max. Me and him getting into each other. A lot of times you get into someone and then they just like right hook you. So it was cool. We are pulling dive bombs and passes that we really shouldn't have been doing. So it was fun.
Yeah,
I'm
it seems
glad
like
you enjoyed that.
you guys were doing some aggressive moves, but you were doing it cleanly, and it like you said, it made for some pretty good entertainment, man. So I'm excited to see you actually out there on track at Watkins Glen later this year, and hope you're able to get some good practice from this. And congratulations on your P2.
Yep. Thank you.
Fun fact, he didn't deny that he'd be at Watkins Glen. A little secret leak right there. Max Dinda, congratulations on your race win, your first Premier League race win, too, here at Watkins Glen. How did that go for you?
Swept the night, so proud of that. Huge shout out to Tyler though, racing me clean. No, we were going at it back and forth, so I mean, I'm not mad about anything. It's just racing. So we had a good battle here and there. Yeah.
Yeah, like we discussed with him when we just had him up here in the booth. You guys were racing aggressive. You were doing some um, not so suggestive moves to each other, but you guys were able to do it to where it was entertaining and clean. I mean, how fun was that being able to race that hard for that many laps with somebody.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever been this tired from my race before. I'm drenched in sweat and like my legs hurt. So it was a tough battle, but with I think it was 6 or 5 to go, 32. Um, he sent it in deep, and I kind of sent it in deep, and I got back to like 4 seconds there, and I thought the race was over. So I just told myself to keep pushing, and just started pushing really hard, and it stuck to the corner, so I caught him. So
Yeah, Max, that was amazing watching you. We watched you on the first long run. You started casually trickling down the lead, but it wasn't enough. And then you got that pit cycle strategy, and he got back past you. But then again, you started casually trickling down the lead. What was your key to success in the long run?
I knew that saving the rear tires would be good, not the smashing down the throttle, easing into it. So I knew that. I also knew if I pitted early, I would probably pass him or at least be with him. So I pitted a little bit early, and it worked out there. I held the lead for a few laps after that, but he was he had a lot of speed.
Yeah, man. Well, you were the golden ticket winner tonight. You were able to get your shot in the Premier League kind of debut here because of your win earlier this evening. So it's got to be a good feeling to come in here, debut with all of these guys, and show them why you deserve to be up here in the Premier League. So congratulations on your P1, man, and hopefully we see you back up here in the Premier races.
Yep. Thank you guys.
Man, Edwin, that was exciting. I mean that's
Yeah,
about as exciting of a race as you can get on a road course. It's unfortunate that when you're on these tracks like this, everybody splits up, and you can only focus on so many people at a time. But it was definitely well worth it tonight.
normally in road course races, the broadcasting goes, we just watch the last 10 laps, but this one was very interesting to watch the entire time because we got to watch a lot of guys figure the track out, chase people down, and it turned out to be a real good show. That's why I love the Premier League, man. They're next level.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's exciting each week. We still got a lot more racing to go this season, and I think that the competition is just going to get a lot better. These guys are starting to get hungry. They're starting to want it more, and they're wanting to prove that they belong here. And the points are starting to count.
Oh yeah, it's getting to be an interesting battle here towards the front. All of the leagues here in DESR Premier League has it kind of started out as a awesome racing series, and then you had Xfinity, trucks, everything. And Christian, I really appreciate you broadcasting me with you. It's going to be a great time. You're going to be broadcasting the Xfinity race tomorrow, correct?
Yeah, I should make it tomorrow.
All right. Well, thank you all for showing up to the Premier League and DESI racing. It's a pleasure to see you. Thank you, Christian Clark. Thank you, Damon O'Brien, as our producer. See you guys.